Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Footy Channel Groundhopper for another edition of the Non-League Show. This is the third one now that we've had in a row. Obviously, the first one was with Tom Rothery, the Needham market manager, and then last week we had the charismatic Barry Drew Barlow. Great guy, friend of the channel as well. Absolutely brilliant guest. And tonight we've got another special guest as well. But before we get into that, we've got John from Game and Blump and James from Non-League James as well. How are you, lads? Okay?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Excellent. So before we start, if you do enjoy tonight's show, then please don't forget to smash the like, follow Sean the sheet there and hit them thumbs up. It does help the channel. Also, if you're brand new at the channel, come and hit that subscribe. Come be part of this great community. Also hit the bell notification. That will let you know when I'm live, have any pre-records or any videos that I upload as well. You can always become a member at this 99p. You can do that by clicking the join button. And if you want to make a donation, do that in chat by clicking on $, all money reinvested in the channel to bring you great match day vlogs and great shows as well. Right. So without further ado, let's bring our guest in. This is Ben. He's head of media at Carlton Town. So let's bring Ben in. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Good evening, Tony. I'm all right. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, hey, no problem at all, mate. No problem. And thank you for coming on as well. And before I come to you, I'll just nip through some comments first of all. And Mason says, good evening to you, Mason. Philip says, good evening, Tony, John, James. Hope you are all well. Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Philip.
Hi, Philip.
Hi.
Lewis says, good evening, Tony. Good evening, John. And good evening, James. Good evening, Lewis.
Good evening.
Evening.
No.
And he also says good evening to Ben as well, as does Philip. And somebody joining, I gather, because John is stream sharing this as well on his channel. So don't forget to hit the like on John's channel as well. Sam Jones Gaming, hi. How are you all doing in Up the Millers?
Up
Hi,
the Millers,
James.
love
Good
it.
lads.
And WLB says evening all.
Just very quickly to say as well that I am live on my channel too, just to let everyone know.
And
as well.
it's on James, and it's on James's as well. So there we go. It's on 3 channels tonight.
Spoiled for choice.
And Lady Forest fans, come on.
Oh, I know who that is.
You know who that is.
Yeah.
So yes, so as I say, we got Ben on. So I'll come up to you now, Ben. Do you want to explain to everybody what your job is at Carlton Town Football Club and what it entails?
Sure. I think anybody who's already heard me speak on other podcasts and stuff, or have heard me say that it's very much an assumed role. I think there's not much official about it, and it was something that it wasn't really being done a couple of seasons ago, and I had the capacity to do it and the drive to do it, I suppose. The club we had things like the match highlights, and that was pretty much all that they were doing on YouTube when I first started following them, which was back in September of 2021. We got a lateral move the following season across to the MPL East, and that obviously increased the travel costs and costs overall. So one of the first things that had to go was recording games and match highlights. So we just avoided relegation that first season, but the following season was a really, really good season for us. We got to the playoff semi-finals, beaten by Stockton, really good Stockton side. But it was at the end of that season that I just thought, you know what, it's a real shame, because we've had a great season. It was a great squad then, real sort of togetherness between us, the supporters, and the players and the management. But it wasn't really shared. We hadn't really shared that story beyond just the people who were sort of living it. What we did have throughout all of that was Lou, who takes the photos on the match days for us at Carlton. He's still there, and there's Steve and now Neil as well. So there's 3 of them who are taking photos, and he obviously chronicled all of that really good season. and he shares the photos every week. So I had actually a back catalogue of the season, but in pictures. So I was just sort of idly putting them together at the end of that season, put them to a bit of music, and I really enjoyed that process. And I shared it with the fans, and I says, look, it's been a good season, hasn't it? And everybody just really picked up it. And I thought, you know what? I could probably do more than that. I like being creative. And I thought I got a little bit into it. So when we then got the news the following season that we were getting match highlights back, we were getting the VO cameras in, so we'd be doing more and increasing that activity on YouTube. I thought there's an opportunity there to do more at the same time and sort of relaunch it, if you like. So we took what we knew was coming in with the match highlights, took the idea of the likes of James, the likes of John, what they do with their match day blogs, the vlogs, thought we could do that just for Carlton. So we did a couple of those in that season. We did an away day, so the supporters really helped us out there. They took the cameras on the bus and they recorded sort of everything from the bus journey going up to the ground and the game itself, and then on the way back. And we also the feature that really cemented it, I think, was the quick fire 5. So that's where it was 5 questions that we asked players, managers, supporters of the club, and anybody else really who I could grab hold of. And it was in forums just like Twitter, direct messaging people. I've seen you're into non-league sort of thing. Would you fancy being involved in this initiative? I did that with John. And because of the non-league community, and you'll know this yourself, guys, that people were really happy to help out. And we had 50-something episodes we posted every week. And that really energized me. And I loved the whole process. And it really sort of gave me an extra level of insight into the whole non-league community. And it's just built from there, really. So it's there's more of it. We're doing different things this season. But it was really just to relaunch, I suppose, the presence of the club in that platform, because my 4 or 5 years being involved, it's a fantastic place to be. I absolutely love it. The people are fantastic, and they deserve their stories to be heard. So that's all I'm doing, really.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely brilliant. That got a thing here from Paul Hazeldine. Hi lads, I help out a club called Bewdley Town Football Club from Worcestershire. I run the YouTube channel, TikTok and Instagram. We hit over 1,000 followers on TikTok last Friday. Great live so far. Thank you very much, Paul. And that's excellent, mate. And that's what non-league needs, more and more people like yourselves.
Can I just, Paul, do you fancy coming on this show at some point? I met Paul at Bewdley Town a few weeks ago when I went down there. Absolutely great bloke who basically lives Bewdley Town. So if you're up for it, Paul, it might be worth coming on at some point.
Yeah, just drop a DM, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
And if I can just pick up on that bit from Paul there, the one thing that we've added this year, because it's not just me. I've assumed this title, and it's a very grandiose title, and I don't mean it to be big-headed. That's not it at all. There are other people behind the scenes, don't get me wrong, and there were already people who were running the Instagram account and the Twitter account. Joe was already there doing that, and he does a fantastic job. He also does the match day programs. The brand design as well is fantastic, and that's all from him. But the youngsters, this was the thing, that we're getting more youth down at Carlton, and obviously they just get TikTok more than me. So they were like, could we do, Carlton hasn't got a TikTok account yet, has it? And this was in the off season. I says, well, no, do you want to do it? And they did it. And that has been our highest grown platform this season by an absolute country mile. And I think that's the reason we're getting, more younger people down at the grounds as well. And it's really, really positive. And I think that's, if you can buy into those platforms, but you're making stuff that fits the platform, that's the important thing, because not everything that looks good on YouTube might look good on TikTok. They're very different, aren't they? So you kind of you plug into the way of these things working, and the fact that we've got some of the youngsters doing it, you know, they give them that ownership and it's theirs. They know what goes well there, and they're selling their club and giving that ownership of the club to them as well. It's just been great. So that's good to hear that Paul's getting that feedback as well in terms of followers and stuff.
Yeah, there is a lot on the TikTok side of it where the young, like you say, the younger fans, that they're all using TikTok these days. They're all doing their little dance moves or singing or whatever on TikTok. So they're always on that platform, probably more than they are on YouTube, in all fairness. So that, you know, that, but then that's where they can tap into it from there. But then they can go to the YouTube from that as well, you know.
Sure.
Philip says the Bill Stokeld Stadium's another good non-league ground.
It's a brilliant ground.
Phil. Yeah, we like it, and it's growing all the time. There's development happening all the time, and again, there's a whole army of volunteers and people who are wanting to make the club grow, and it's little steps, but it's sustained growth, and I think that's probably, from my point of view, I think that's probably really important, rather than, you know, that some clubs go for that boom because they can, and that's fine, but then there's the risk of the bust, and I think ours has been a nice steady growth in my short time there. But it's growth with a real goal. You know, we want to see Carlton at step 3, but when we get there, we want to stay there. So we've got to make sure that the ground's in a good position to be able to do that, and the facilities are there, and the community's growing, and it all sort of working together.
Yeah, Scott says great to have Ben on about non-league football in Nottingham area with Carlton Town.
Oh, thanks, Scott. And yeah, Nottingham, I'll talk about Nottingham non-league as well. Absolutely. It's not just Carlton Town. That's my club, but there's a lot of good stuff happening in Nottingham with non-league. We've got some great clubs, and it's a really competitive. I mean, we should have actually played yesterday in the Not Senior Cup against Hucknall, but the game got postponed because of the weather. But it's a highly competitive cup, and one that certainly as a Carlton fan, I always look to seeing us do well, and know that if we can get into the later rounds, then we've done really well. So it's a good non-league scene in Nottingham. It's good to be part of it.
It's a bit of a dilemma, that one for me, Ben, as well, because I love Carlton Town, but I'm also really close with the guys at Hucknall Town as well. So it's a weird one. So I'm hoping that game gets rearranged to a night that I'm able to come down, because it'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, I think they're talking about next week, mate. They need to get it played, really, because that's only the second round, isn't it? So they need to get that one done. Yeah.
Well, they're holders, aren't they, Hucknall Town?
Mm.
They won it in that ridiculous final last season.
6-6. Yeah.
6-6 the penalties.
The most incredible game. I mean, there were people, you know, Carlton fans that went to that because it was the final, it was the showpiece, and they're still talking about it now. Really, it was like the most bonkers game of football ever.
It wasn't much defending going on, but it was certainly entertaining.
Who needs defending? No.
Nah.
Yeah, Philip says it was a great attendance at Whitby Town last weekend, because a fellow friend of mine, Pete, went there and done a vlog on it, and it was a good game between the Sal's and Guiseley. It ended 1-1. Guiseley took the lead, who were struggling against High Fly in Whitby, and it was a 1-1 draw. So Whitby equalised with a cracking free kick. It was a heck of a free kick as well. If you haven't seen it, check it out on PD Proudlock, my friend, and he's got it on there. It's absolutely fantastic. Mason says, I've got a question for Ben. What was your favourite ground that you visited in the Northeast?
That's really difficult for me to say, because I don't tend to do a great deal of away games. But I know as a group, the bus journeys, they might, well, it's strange. A lot of the fans might say, actually, the really long journeys, the away days, they were really long. But when you listen to some of their quick fire 5 interviews that we did last season, a lot of them were reflecting back and saying, actually, those bus journeys kind of made the trips for us, because you're all together, you're with the players, the managers, and kind of win, lose or draw. That probably helped to build that community up. I suppose for me, because of the spectacle, I did go to the playoff semi-final. I've got to say Stockton, because I've got so few to choose from. It's a cop-out answer, but seeing Carlton play against in front of over 1,000 people, knowing that we gave a good account of ourselves on that day. Stockton they're playing in a different league, on a number of levels. It was just a really sort of proud day, I suppose, for me. I've not had a huge, very, very long association with the club, but to see us playing at that sort of level against such a quality outfit and not get totally blown away. We'd actually been there in the league a couple of months before and beaten them, which not many teams had done that year, but we weren't able to replicate it, unfortunately, in that playoff semi-final. And then they went on and played an incredible final, actually, that playoff final against Dunstan. That was a real goal fest as well, really exciting game. So, bit of a cop-out answer because I've not got a huge amount to choose from, but I do know that the guys who did go up regularly, there's a lot of great grounds up there and a lot of great clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Lewis says, to be fair, much highlight is quite cool because you can see how you did. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Great show. Keep up the work. Lewis says, what do you think about this campaign? What's happening this weekend where all non-league games are kicking off at 15:03?
That's right.
He's asking why they're kicking off at 15:03.
No, he's asking, what do you think about the campaign, about them starting at 3 minutes past 3 this weekend?
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I think National League deserves 3 up, 3 down. It's a very close standard to League Two, so it would be really good for football, really good for non-league football as well. So I'm fully behind it.
Yeah. What about you, James?
No, I totally agree with what John just said there.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to have the 3 up, 3 down. It's a shame that it's a shame that there are some teams and some people in the EFL who are against it. But it's been, if you want to know, other YouTubers have talked about this already, but it's been 20 years since we got the 2 up in the National League as well. So it's a long time, and I think it's right to get 3 up now.
Yeah, I used to watch Hereford finish second every year when it was just the winners that would go up. It was really frustrating, and then we lost the playoffs a couple of times before we actually got promoted. So yeah.
And Wacky, this is for you, John. Hats off to the Hereford fans for keeping their club alive after the troubles they've had.
Well, I mean, we didn't keep the club alive. We reformed it. Because the previous owners ruined it. Tommy Agombar and Andy Lonsdale, they were only interested in taking ownership of the Edgar Street ground to see what they want to do with it. But it's thanks to John Hale and the Hereford United Supporters Trust that kind of put the club back together and started the brilliant Hereford FC, which we've been sort of on the way up since forming, but we're kind of troubled times again now at the moment, as we're very close to the National League North relegation zone, but hopefully we can pull through it and stay up this season and keep competing at that level, because we should be one level higher, in my opinion.
Yeah. Philip's got a question for Ben. He says, do you think Carlton Town will get the capabilities investment to make it to the EFL Football League in the future?
Wow.
That's a bold one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
look,
he's saying the future, but you don't know how far he means. But,
exactly. Yeah. No. Look. As long as it's done in a, that's a huge step.
Yeah.
Knowing that that the gap between even step 4 and step 3 can be quite. Yeah. And I think in terms of, I mean, Tommy Brookbanks, who's the director of football now at Carlton, but he's, he had 30 years experience managing at non-league, 20 of those with Carlton, but he'd had promotions to step through with Colville. And when we did a series when he retired from the managerial position, we sort of took a look back over that 30-year career, and one thing that he said, even with that step up, you can be, have the budget and have a sort of a top 4 budget at step 4. You may get up, but then you suddenly find that there's 15 clubs above you or more that can outspend you, and have probably been competing at that level for a long time. So, and then, I mean, beyond that, step 2, it's just another level. I think there are some of the guys that are playing at Carlton now. A couple of seasons ago, they were playing the likes of Macclesfield and saying that is a really imposing sort of position to be in, from a player's point of view as well, because you're going from playing, against, crowds of a couple of hundred, 400-500, 4,500 at Macclesfield. That's another thing in itself. But I'm rambling. Yeah, of course, I want to see Carlton as high as they possibly can, but there's so many things that would have to sort of line up, and in the future, how far in the future? But yeah, why not? Yeah, I'm optimistic. Premier League one day.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, the thing is as well, it's what you got to look at. It's when you get to step 3, you've got to make sure obviously it doesn't have to be in step 3, but you want to start making sure that your ground can be ready for segregation.
Yeah. That's it. So it's all those sorts of things that they're starting to already think about, and that's the positive thing. That's being that little bit closer to the committee and seeing that kind of foresight that that they know where they want to get to, but they know what they need when they do get there, and they're starting to put that things in place. And even if that is starting to put a fundraising fund together, knowing that they'll need it, it's not something they can just go, yeah, when we're there, we'll just slap the money on the desk, because it's not there at the moment. And that's probably where you get that it's literal buy-in from all people that are there, both with the their actions off the field to make things happen, or bring in a skill set, or it's actually putting a hand in the pocket, which they do obviously every week when they come through the turnstiles, but also when they're asked for an additional, what about this? There's a speaker event, here's another thing, and it's all fundraising, and that kind of thing is, it'd be a long way to get there, but why not? If the drive's there and the people, the committee has definitely got the will to build the club. So sky's the limit, I suppose. But EFL Football League, I don't know, would it lose a bit of its soul? Because I've spoken so much in the past about how great non-league is, and there are so many good things to like about non-league, and do you lose those sorts of things, some of those things, when you go further up the pyramid? And maybe you do. But all that being said, I wouldn't turn it down if it was on offer.
Get on the phone to
absolutely.
Mr. Marinakis.
It's a different, difficult one.
Yeah, I think one thing as well people don't realise very quickly as well is that the more you go up the levels, the more as well the travel is a lot further.
Yeah.
And the cost of that gets a lot more on the club. So
More regulations as well. So yeah.
Looking at this season, one of the local teams to me is Boston Town, and they're battling for playoffs in the UCL Premier Division North, and they could be going into Carlton's league, say, next season.
Yeah.
And they realise how further away that is of travelling to some of these different clubs. They're looking at their budget right now is I would say mid-table in their league, but they're looking at next season going, well, actually, we might be the lowest budget in the league above because of if we get up because of all the travel and everything we've got to do with hiring all the coaches and everything we do. Yeah,
and that is one of the things why there was an appeal that Carlton, or one of the reasons that Carlton appealed the lateral move from the Midlands, where they finished just outside the playoffs in the 21-22 season into the East, because your travel budget, it's just suddenly gone from something fairly manageable to 10-20 grand more than it was, and it's those sorts of things that you just think, when I tried to explain that to people as a concept in non-league, that you can go across and you don't control it, it's really down to what happens elsewhere. There can't be many other situations in life or business where you're in that situation where you're going, all right, we don't actually know what the budget or the spend is going to be next year, because we don't know what area of the country we'll be competing in. Absolutely bonkers. How do you plan effectively year on year? It's really difficult. And I think Carlton and obviously Belper, they came back across with us into this Midlands for this season. We're on that border, so there's nothing to say that we couldn't have a decent season this season but end up going, who knows, north, south, east or west, regardless of where we finish in the league. So yeah, it's for the committees out there of non-league clubs, it must be really, really difficult if there's a possibility of you being in that situation, to have to, do you start cutting back in season before you don't want to sort of limit where you could end up in that season, do you know what I mean, before you then move on. Really, really strange.
There's a good example of that as well, Ben, is Evesham United, promoted from Step 4. They've got Southern League Premier Division Central, Bromsgrove, Worcester, Halesowen, Redditch, all those teams in the Central. Evesham have been put in South. So instead of playing all the local rivals, they're playing Weymouth and Tiverton and Taunton and teams like that. And obviously there was a big appeal, but they were just the wrong side of the border.
Yeah.
So yeah, their travel must be ridiculous. And when you see how close they are to teams like Worcester and Bromsgrove, it must be infuriating for them.
Yeah.
Missed out on all those derbies. I bet that was the same for you when you got moved across.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think our nearest derbies in the East were sort of Sheffield and Belper, and whereas now Long Eaton, well, you could throw a blanket over teams within an hour of us, which is great. But James, to your point, I think there's the expectation that as you go up the divisions, you'll end up travelling further. But even still, you look, I mean, Truro having to go to Gateshead or wherever they did the, just astronomical. And even that, it just must be so tricky to then try and, because you want a competitive squad, don't you? You want to be able to invest in the team to be able to compete at this new level, but then you can't. Oh yeah, we've got a good side, but we'll have to ask you to cycle to wherever you're going, lads. We can't put a bus.
Like as well, I know Tony and John know this with the Southern League Prem Central as well. There's loads of teams on the in the East as well who could potentially be in the Isthmian League, for example, but haven't been put in there because of they're just in the wrong area to be you can go in the Southern Central then.
Right.
Like Leiston, I think Leiston, Tony might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Leiston don't really have a local derby in that league. I think their closest is sort of like 50, 60 miles away from them.
Yeah, it's Leiston's quite a way out. I've been there before, well, not to the ground, but I've been to the place Leiston, but it's quite a ways out. It's massively out the way. Because it's Suffolk, it's probably in line with like Needham Market and Bury Town, I mean, the Isthmian Division 1 North, after the season ended, and obviously teams coming down from the Isthmian Premier, which was Bowes and Pitsea, and then you had Lowestoft Town coming down from the Southern League Central Premier. There was talk before they'd done the fixtures and everything that Cambridge City may be moved out the Isthmian League North Division 1, and there was talk of them going to a Midlands League. But then, something to do with the boundary, but then because of the teams that were coming into the league, there was a space there for Cambridge to stay in that league. So they could have well been in a different league altogether. But yeah, so it just shows you how sometimes you can just be moved out of a league even if you're just that little bit further out. And I think Cambridge City are probably happy that they've stayed, that they hadn't been moved out of there, because the travel costs. I mean, you go to Needham Market last season, they were in National League North. Look at their travel costs, must have been huge. Travelling to Darlington, South Shields, places like that, Leamington, well out of the way, So it's massive, isn't it?
Granted. I think you kind of take that for granted as well. With like step 4, you assume there's not going to be that much travel, but with Carlton being in the Eastern League, it's like what 2.5 hour trips on a Tuesday night, getting back at 2 a.m, things like that.
It could have been, but then the same was then. Other teams in that division, that part of the world, were then put in that same position. We had Ashington come down to us on a Tuesday night at the end of, I think it was the end of October. I mean, the away, we're not going to take a huge amount of people away, nor are they going to come to us. So it's kind of everything then suffers potentially. I mean, don't get me wrong, our away attendances were ever increasing, I think, as that vibe grew, that actually it was a good crack, the whole day kind of thing. But it's still, people are actually cannot go for the whole day. You're leaving at 8 a.m, 9 a.m. But the midweek ones were out for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Whereas one thing that we're tracking and trying to use as a measure of are we getting more exposure as a club? What we're doing with the media, what Joe and Neil and the lads and myself are doing, is that translating into people through the gate? And we've had an immediate bump in a positive direction since we've been in the Midlands. We were growing in those 2 or 3 years in the East, but it's had a huge jump forward, and that's prime. I would say, as much as it is, we're growing our own fan base, because we are, but it will obviously be the fact that it's a much more attractive prospect for away fans to come to us, as it would be for more of our fans to go on away trips in this area now.
Yeah, I mean, Philip says that it's amazing to see non-league grounds gaining more capacity with each growing every week. And I mean, what I notice is when I go around vlogging, and probably John, James is probably the same, the crowds are growing in non-league, because the problem is people are turning away from the Premier League because the costs are too high. I mean, I'll give you an instance. I went to the last game of the last season when Carlton Town played St Margaret's-Bury, and there was a lot riding on that game because this was like step 6. So Hackney Wick and Carlton Town were level on points going into the last game of the season. Carlton Town were only top by goal difference, by +9 goal difference. And so a lot of Harlow fans had it down that me and Baker on the last game of the season were going to play their youth team. So me and Baker would play their youth team. So Hackney Wick would go out and win that game, say 9, 10, 11, 12-0, whatever. But as it turned out, they actually didn't play their weekend side. They actually played their full team, me and Baker. But Harlow went on and won that game 6-1 against St Margaret's-Bury. You could see why St Margaret's-Bury had been relegated about 6 weeks before the season ended, because they were absolutely dreadful. Let's be honest, they were dreadful. And how they even got a goal was just because of a bit of sloppiness from Harlow. But as I say, I went to that game, and there was 1,267 fans at that game.
Wow.
That was a massive attendance for step 6. And we know Harlow Town's quite a biggish club anyway. They're now in the Spartan Midlands League, and Hackney Wick actually won the playoff and got promoted themselves to the Essex Senior League. So, absolutely brilliant. Both teams that were neck and neck all season, and it was absolutely brilliant. But that's what I'm saying. The crowds are growing, I mean, I've got a local team which I sponsor, Thetford Town, and they're step 5, and they get over 200 per game, easy, And And I just think people do turn away because you see a lot of it. I've seen a lot of it on Twitter where people are saying, "Oh, I've give up my season ticket at a Premier League club." I think there was a Wolves fan. He gave his up because he's a single parent and he had a child, and he said, "Look, basically, he says I can go to the match, take my son with me. He doesn't pay to get in because he's under 16. I pay £10 to get in, so it's cost us £10 for two people to get into a match. It's cheap to buy a burger or whatever, cheap to buy a drink. You can stand at the side of the pitch with a drink in your hand." And he said, "Where if you go to a Premier League club, you're paying £10, maybe £12 for something to eat each." He says, "Then you've got to buy your drinks on top of that." He says, "Then you think your travel costs and everything." He says, it runs it. And I thought, you know what? The guy actually does talk sense, because it is and it's not just Premier League, it's obviously Championship as well, because, prices in the Championship aren't cheap either.
No.
I mean, I went to Stowmarket Town last season, and they're only about 40 minutes away from me. Now, I went in, I paid my entrance fee, I had a pint, I had a burger, and I got a hot chocolate at half time as well. Now, all in all, that cost me £21.50. That was actually cheaper than going to even watch Cambridge United playing in League One. They were charging £23 a ticket. Yeah. And that's before you have anything to eat at Cambridge United and something to drink. So it does show you, non-league is the way. And I mean, you've probably seen it yourself, Ben. The crowds are growing wherever you go, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I think for a variety of reasons. I mean, all those that you've said,
not just down to the Premier League. Yeah,
no, it's not. I think it's there's a number of reasons, and look, I'm going to bit shameless here, but if you go on to Carlton Town TV on YouTube and you go to the Quickfire 5 playlist, watch any of those that we did. The one question that we asked everybody, apart from the players, was why should you give non-league a go? And the amount of answers that you get that are all on those same kind of lines, but it as well as it's accessible. A lot of the grounds, it's easy to get in a pushchair, for example. If you've got your kids with you can take your dog with you. You can, you get everything all in, as you've said, for about £20, less than it would cost you to get into a ground. Normally it's dead close. You can walk to the ground in a lot of cases. And it's just, there's so many things that came out of that I just thought that's why people come. And then when you get in there, you find that it's a really good standard of football, or there'll be some controversy or something that's like it'll stick with you. And in most cases, you'll get a really good welcome, and you'll want to go back because there's good good people.
You must be happy though. Back to Carlton for a second. You must be happy though to be seeing it most home games being over 200 fans at each game, because I know that's really good as well.
Look, that was something that, and there are people there that have been following Carlton for much longer than I have. When they started following in sort of 2007, 2008, and there's 80 people. They were getting 80 people in those for their home games. Now there's a regular core, I would say. So even in midweek games against teams who might not be bringing many to us, it's we're getting towards 250, I would say now, and the average I think for the season's somewhere up around 270, something like that.
Yeah.
We just hope that we can carry on with that, because it's that's got to grow to enable the club to grow. So I'll just you whizzed past a comment there, Tony, but I will just pick it up because I know who sent it. I think it was in response to the favourite grounds in the northeast, and they said Bishop Auckland, but it was primarily because that was the last game of last season, and there was Hawaii. They took the Hawaiian shirts. That's the one. They took Hawaiian shirts. They took like inflatable palm trees and all sorts, and they made a real big deal of it. So that they took the Hawaiian beach feel with them, I think. So
yeah,
that is a nice ground, Bishop Auckland, I must admit.
Yes.
Yeah, it is one of the nice grounds up there.
I've not been. You do realise, though, Tony, by having Ben on the show, that means you are obliged to visit Carlton Town at some point.
That will have to be on my list. Absolutely. Absolutely. It
Yeah,
will
You're
be.
definitely
more than
should.
welcome, Tony.
You should.
You're more than
You-
welcome.
You definitely should.
Peter
They
Wilson
are-
says, what is your favourite Carlton memory, Ben, and football game in general, but not Carlton?
Right.
He's put you on the spot there, hasn't he?
Football game in general. Football game in general. Yeah, he has really put me on the spot there. I saw. Oh God, no, I can't even think about it. You know what? I tell you what. It's not one that it wasn't a game that I went to, but it sticks in my memory because it made me want to play football more as a kid. That so from being a child, it was the sort of the memory that sticks with me, and it was David Platt's goal against Belgium in 1990 in Italian 90, and that was the one that I thought, because up until then we were quite lucky because a lot of the World Cup games had been on normal terrestrial, but I was of an age where I was following it all on the wall charts and that kind of thing, and actually England had played fairly poorly to get to that second round, hadn't they? Really, I mean, they hadn't really sort of turned it over, and all. It wasn't like they were tearing up trees, and they hadn't played particularly well in that game. But that single little moment, that little Gascoigne free kick, and that volley, I was just thought, my God, that is beautiful, that is quality, and they are, and that's sort of really stuck with me, and yeah, well, I wanted to play football. But the best Carlton memory, again, that's really difficult because I feel like I've been absolutely spoiled in my short time watching them, because they score great goals, they write great stories, great saves. We've got a fantastic keeper, Felix Annan, who made one of the best saves I have ever seen against Concert a couple of years ago. There was no way he should have got to that ball right in the top corner, and he sort of flicked it away with his hand. But I don't know. Okay, right. Okay, so a couple of years ago, we were playing Winterton Rangers in the East League. We were really struggling to break them down. It was the season we got to the playoff semi-final, and all the other teams in that sort of area of the league were all winning at that time. It was 1-1. We'd had one cleared off the line. We thought it was beyond the line, but the liner didn't give it. And it was like absolute last chance saloon. It was 90 plus something minutes. And I'll give him a name check. Kyle Sargent, vice captain, absolute Carlton legend. He popped up out of nowhere from this on this corner, found a bit of space, about 12 yards out, and he somehow managed to get the header. There was a defender stood on the post, and he got it between the defender and the post, snuck the ball in. I mean, what do they say? Limbs. It was absolute bedlam. It was fantastic. It was probably almost bettered this season when we scored in the last minute against Bourne in the league. But for some reason that Sargent goal really stuck with me. But there've been some brilliant ones, and another one. And I'm taking up some time here, but I will say another one, Nat Watson scoring the goal that kept us up in the Great Escape season, the 22-23 season. Again, there's a whole series on that on Carlton Town TV. You can go and watch a 4-part episode of the Great Escape season. But that, as a moment, we had to win that game, otherwise we'd have been relegated. That's the sort of situation we were in. We were playing Dunstan, who were going for the playoffs. We'd scored early, and then it was real backs to the wall. And then in the 89th minute, just the most sublime piece of football to open them up. And that's there, 6 yards out, pops it in. Again, fantastic celebrations. And it's those sorts of things that I thought, that's what other people need to see. I need to be able to share this with the wider world, because that's non-league. That's football in its purest form. That's non-league, and that's what other people need to hear about and see.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah, you
There's
should
one for you,
definitely
John.
check out.
Philip remembers Hereford winning 9-0 at Dagenham and Redbridge back in 2004 on Sky Sports, back in the day when Sky had conference football. There you go. Do you remember that, John?
I remember that because I forgot that it was on. My mate watched it on Sky because it had been moved to a Friday night, and he messaged me Hereford are winning 9-0, and my response was 2 words because I didn't believe him. And then I remember checking, and I think Dagenham had a player, maybe 2 players sent off in the first half, and it was just, yeah, I think that season that might have been the year that we kind of broke the National League goal scoring record but didn't go up. Which Notts County and Wrexham both beat recently. But I think we finished second place to Chester, despite scoring well over 100 goals. We beat Forest Green 7-1, we beat Halifax 7-0, things like that. But we'd lose to teams down the bottom. And we fell short by a point in the end. We played Chester on the final day. They were 4 clear. We won on the final day, so we obviously cut the lead, but it wasn't enough. And then we lost in the playoffs to a team that finished 21 points behind us.
Mm.
So that's typical Hereford, that is.
Yeah.
Peter's got a question as well. Again, he says to all of us, favourite ground in the Midlands, and then for Ben, not Carlton. So,
I'll let you guys go first. Well, I think then if I can't pick Carlton.
what's your favourite ground, James?
I'm trying to think here as well now.
Are you?
Yeah. What about you, Tony or John?
Favourite ground? I'm gonna have to go with Carlton, not just because Ben's here, just because it's round the corner and it's like one of the friendliest clubs you can get to. So to be fair, like I've started ground topping recently, and yeah, so I've been to quite a few Nottinghamshire grounds, but I've not really expanded to that many around the Midlands area. But yeah, Carlton is certainly one of the friendliest clubs you'll go to. So
Wow.
I'd strongly recommend, and James will back me up on this as well. Yeah, the people there are brilliant, and the players as well. Like I quite regularly catch up with Felix, with Niall Davey, with people like that before and after the game. Like got a great relationship with the managers and Tommy, obviously Ben as well. So yeah, and the best thing is it's just around the corner. But I'm blessed because I've also got Gedling Miners Welfare, even closer than Carlton to me.
Well, I was going to say, if we're talking Midlands-based teams or actual teams in the current, the division that Carlton are in, it's 2 different questions already. I mean, Belper Town's ground is beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely ground. It's they get the crowds we'd love to get, those 600-700 supporters in, but a lovely setting. I know they're not in the Midlands division, but they're in the sort of region, if you like, the wider region. Matlock Town's ground is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for the setting as much as anything else, but it's the facilities, it's easy to get to from the town centre. But as John says there, Gedling Miners Welfare is just at the top of the hill. So I've got Carlton one way, I've got Gedling up the other end, but it's just it's very well appointed. It's a decent playing surface. They've got covered stands pretty much all the way round, which really helps when it's teeming down with rain. So yeah, I think we're spoilt really, and there's a lot of obviously a lot of the Carlton supporters now. They're sort of exploring those grounds again in the Midlands as we find ourselves, and there's some fantastic big grounds. Rugby Town's ground. It's a big ground for Step 4. Corby Town. It's a big ground for Step 4, and they're teams that are looking to get back to, or to progress themselves as all those teams in the division are. But they've got the facilities there already to be able to do it and that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's some of these grounds you go to and you think, crikey, we couldn't even fit that stand on our ground. It's too big. We haven't got enough space to actually put it. But yeah, really good.
Yeah, I remember Corby because I'm a Boston United fan. I remember Corby back in the late 2000s and early 2010s when they were in the National League North with Boston United up there, and then the drop that they've had is incredible, really, to go down to Step 4. But yeah, And to answer the question, I don't know for me because I have not been to many grounds in like that, except around where I live in Lincolnshire and a few in the Midlands. I don't know. Yeah, I think Boston Town's really good for the level they're in. Step 5, it has all stands around 3 sides of ground and then an open side near the clubhouse. So that's really nice. And yeah, I agree with John on this. Carlton is a very friendly place to go.
Bourne's good though as well, isn't it, James? Bourne's got a cracking little setup there, and they get really good crowds as well. So I mean, no, that I think it's their home form that
Yes.
might keep them. They've been really, really unlucky actually
Yeah.
with some of their. But I thought when we played them, that I thought if they show that sort of tenacity and stuff, and then seeing how they've been in some of the results on the home ground, and that create that atmosphere there, that they might be all right. It's very tight down at the bottom
Yeah,
there.
it's going to be surprising with Bourne because they got back-to-back promotions. They came up from step 6 to step 5,
That's right, yeah.
and then I was at the playoff final with Boston Town, which there was apparently in the ground 1,700 people watching the final, 100 and something from Boston Town, I think it was, and you could just see that they played some really good football, but they were so unlucky that Boston Town were to not go up. They played for the whole match really well, and it was just one mistake in the penalties that cost them. It finished, I believe it finished Boston Town 8-9 to Bourne. So it was a really big penalty shootout on that one. But no, yeah, it's a nice ground. It just personally think, and I'm just saying this as a fan, maybe they need to add something to it to make it probably like sustainable if they're going to stay maybe in the league. But other than that, I think it's all right.
I need to comment on a ground I went to on Saturday as well, in terms of Midlands non-league grounds that I was majorly impressed with. That's probably the best non-league stadium I've been to. And I mean, it's not technically theirs. It's a rugby ground. It's Worcester City's Six Ways. What an incredible stadium. And there was a little bit of hostility towards me on social media because I'm a Hereford supporter, but I think it was all kind of friendly banter. But yeah, as a Hereford supporter going to Worcester, I was envious. That Six Ways is incredible.
Yeah, it's a rugby stadium though, mate. So.
It is. It's not technically theirs, but you know, yeah.
Look, a nice stadium's a nice stadium. I'm not decrying it, as you say. It's sometimes it's nice to go to those sorts of things as well. Yeah.
It's nice also though to go to them very quickly. It's nice also to go to them small little stadiums that are quirky, non-finished stadiums down in the lower steps in like step 4, step 5, step 6 non-league, and see how teams actually play with that with, I don't know, the 50, 60 or 100 fans that are there. It's nice to see them little tiny hidden gems, as we would say.
We were at Stamford on Tuesday. I was at Stamford with James. We actually saw like a Carlton Town sticker. So you've obviously played. You obviously played at Stamford at some point.
Look, Stamford. I think they made the playoffs in the season that my first season with Carlton, and then after we'd been moved over to the East, I think they got them promoted up to step 3.
Yeah, they won the league, just to let you know, or the playoffs in 22-23.
That's it. That would have been then. So yeah, and I couldn't possibly say who it was, but yeah, we have a variety of well-designed stickers that end up in a variety of different places all over the place, from the San Siro to the Danny's Stadium, as you said.
Mason's got a question for you, Ben. He says, have you had notable players play for Carlton in your time at the club?
Look, they're all notable for their own reasons because they wear the yellow and blue. But Aaron O'Connor, he was there for a couple of seasons. He played at Newport County and various other places. He was a brilliant player. He's at Eastwood community now, but fantastic player, fantastic work ethic. A little bit unlucky with us. I think his second season he got hit with injuries and stuff, but yeah, really quality player. It's probably the one that's probably most well known within our own boundaries. Obviously this season we've signed Ash Chambers. He started off at Leicester. He's represented England. and played at a number of different levels of the non-league pyramid. And has been, well, he was scoring goals for fun up until the last few games. But then we've got, stalwarts of the club. Niall Davey clocked 300 appearances last season, and it's those sorts of things. And what is really good, what I will say about the players and the squad, is that we've got a good nucleus, and they've kept the squad together season on season, adding a few for freshness and stuff. But there's players who have played 200 games, 150 games, and more. And that's not that common. It is with some players, individuals, and some clubs, but we don't necessarily have the revolving door that some clubs do.
Yeah, WLB mentions that as well. As Chambers is a great player.
He's been fantastic this season. He's a real touch of class in front of goal. I love he always seems to have time in the box. He always seems to find space in the box, and that's the mark of a good player. So I need to get him scoring goals again, but he hit the ground running. And what I will say is his goal, I think it was the third goal, he scored against Cleethorpes in the FA Cup when we beat them earlier this season. Absolute class. Go and find that out. It was amazing.
That was really good, that goal, that was. I was there for that one.
That's right, you were there for that one, mate. That was your game, wasn't it, that you came for? We were 2-0 up, and then he got that break. He got a breakaway in the second half, and he chipped the goalkeeper for about 20 yards out. It was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. And they're like, to beat a team like that as well. I know Cleethorpes only had got up the season before, but to beat a team in the league above still is a big achievement for.
Yeah, look, a few months before they beat us 3-0 at our place and won the league on the ground. So we were fantastic that day. We were fantastic.
The Jammer Hammer says he's got a question for you, Ben. He says, "Who's the best fans you've seen at Carlton Town?"
First of all, fantastic name, the Jammer Hammer. I'd love to know the origin of that.
At first, I thought it was a Malden and Tiptree fan, but he's not. They've got red and white tops on. Red and white strips.
I don't know what the origin is, but I know he's a Bristol City supporter. He comes on my channel quite a lot.
Okay. Oh, well, maybe
but I don't know what the origin is. Can you elaborate on that, Jammer Hammer, please? What's the origin of that?
I think this is a really difficult question. The best fans you've seen at Carlton, Garforth. When we played them last season around Christmas time, they brought loads. Carlton and Carlton Town had a sort of a history some years ago in northern counties and that kind of stuff. But it was the first time we played them for ages and ages. But they brought loads of people down. It was a really good atmosphere. But even just the other week, AFC Russian and Diamonds, it was an awful evening weather-wise. Absolutely torrential rain, but they brought a decent amount of people and they created a good atmosphere. I could go on. I think I'll stick there for now. More will come to me, and I'm going to apologise now because we do regularly get some really good fans. I mean, the Coleshill fans on Saturday. Damn them, taking the points home with them, but they made plenty of noise. They got behind the team, and that's what you get, and that's what we want. We want that. It's banter during the game, and then you have a pint with them afterwards. It's great.
Yeah, I Like Coffee says hi to everybody.
I like coffee too. That's a great name. Hello.
He's a great guy. I Like Coffee. Wacky says, my local non-league sides struggle with home attendances, especially when Arsenal, Spurs and Chelsea are all at home.
Yeah, we definitely see more people on the game, the weekends, and now that Forest are playing in Europe, so they tend to play Thursday, Sunday. I think that helps us. But even, sometimes we'll look out where Forest aren't playing on the Saturday, neither are Notts County, and we tend to see that bump there. But yeah, when you're in that nearby area, But that's the mark, really, isn't it? Do people go just to the Premier League or just to their club just because, or do they just like football, and do they just want to go and see some football? And it's all clubs need is for them to go once. I'm convinced of that. If they get them in the ground once, they'll be like, you know what? I may have a season ticket there, but when they're not playing, I'm going there because that was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Philip says another positive is when going to non-league games that the food is amazingly fresh, done to order. It is at Newmarket Town, I can tell you that now.
Most of the time.
The food there is lovely.
Most.
I've had some very disappointing food this season, but I won't comment where.
What you need to do, John, is you need to expand your.
I do, yes, I do.
You go to some place, you're like, this was on offer and this was on offer, and I went for a cheeseburger. Now, I would probably be the same as you, mate, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm willing you to try something else because I'm like, oh, go on, just try it. You might really like it. I mean, to that end, it was only last week, and this is another development that clubs will be doing. Carlton are doing it. They've put in new menu items, so they've gone, hang on, we'll do it with a bit of a advertising and whatever, and it landed really well, and people are like, oh, it's not just burger and hot dogs and whatever, I can get this and I can get that, and it's another way that clubs are looking at it, going, what else is in our offering, what else can we bring? And it seemed to go really well. So credit to the people at the club again for thinking about that. But again, it's another area that non-league clubs are generally really good at, I think. Yeah.
Just to say that to you, Ben, here. I know, John. I know you had a burger and chips when you went to Spalding, and their option of food there, because they've updated their ground, of course, in step 3 with some new facilities. Their options there, they've got like loaded fries. They've got you can get chicken curries there, and you can get other things. And John goes for the most simplest thing of a cheeseburger.
But that was nice at Spalding. That was really good at Spalding, the food.
Yeah,
I just wish I'd gone for the Daniel's burger at Stamford the other night. I wish I'd tried that. So when I go to St. Ives on Saturday, I'll try something different. I'll surprise you. Maybe not.
There we go. That you heard it here first, everybody. We're interested to see what you hear.
Who thinks that I'm actually going to do that, though?
You should.
It's probably going to be a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Wacky says there is a few non-league where he is. Borehamwood, Wingate and Finchley, Potters Bar Town, Cockfosters, and of course Bonnet and Tilly got promoted to League 2.
That's good. I mean, and that's reflective of some. I mean, as I said earlier on, Nottingham is fairly well flush with good non-league grounds and clubs, and we're actually trying to bring all of that together. Well, in March we're doing a charity walk for prostate cancer, and we're going to start at Gedling Miners Welfare, and we're going to walk round the 8 other grounds in the immediate Nottingham city area. I think it's 27 miles. We're going to walk round all of them on the day, and hopefully arrive back at Carlton's ground before kickoff against Corby on the 14th of March. But that within that, all right, it's not 27 miles to drive. Obviously, you just go from one to the other. But there's so many clubs, and they're all playing at step 4, step 5, step 6. But yeah, so again, like your man there, there's good options, and if one's playing away, the other one's probably playing at home. So, and that's another great thing about non-league. There's probably always a game on, whether it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Saturday.
Yeah, talking about food, don't get too hungry here, John. By the way, but as I was saying before, Newmarket Town. The food there is, I've got to say, it is absolutely fantastic, the food there. And they're obviously step 4. And but it is cooked order. They give you a little ticket and you stand and you wait, and then they'll call your number out and say, oh, it's ready now. So you go and get it. Now, I was there the other week. The club invited me down there, which was absolutely fantastic of them. And so I just happened to get myself a bacon cheeseburger for £5.50. And here we go. There it is on screen. Look at that.
Oh, that does look nice. The best football ground food I think Bromsgrove Sporting have a local butcher running their kiosk, and the food there is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was really nice, and it went down very well. Also,
It made me hungry. That did.
I bet it did. Yeah. Bury Town fan in. Hi there, mate. He says, Tony, are you doing any Bury away games this season? I hope to do. Yes, I hope so, mate. And yeah, keep an eye out. You'll see if you see on Twitter or whatever, I put any posts out. I'm hoping to try and do an away game with Bury because I think that'd be fantastic. I was at your game when you played Sudbury in the FA Trophy. Not a great game that day, was it? But your answer to that is yes. I'm hoping to get to one of your away games this season. Absolutely, mate. Great club down at Bury Town, by the way. It's a fantastic little club. If you've never been, get yourself along.
When are you
John,
thinking,
and
Sorry?
Bury Town fan, the guy sitting next to me, John, is coming to your stadium very, very soon.
I believe it's January the 17th when you play Bromsgrove Sporting. It might be that I might have got the date slightly wrong, but it's mid-January when you've got Bromsgrove Sporting at home. That's currently, obviously, things change, games get postponed, games get rearranged, so that might change.
But don't let him get a cheeseburger.
No. The food.
11
I must admit,
cheeseburgers at 11 different grounds.
I mean, the good thing about Bury Town is even when they got promoted, they didn't put the admission price up.
Right.
Yeah, that is good.
The food prices haven't even gone up either. So the food prices are absolutely spot on. You know,
that's the problem with some non-league clubs that they do, and I'm going to shout out. I'm going to downplay my non-league club here, Boston United. When they went from the National League North to National League, they put the prices up. So I don't think. Well, yeah, they did. Yeah. So for the last 2 seasons, I believe it is, or even this season, I think it is actually, they put the prices up again. So it's for standing, it's £20 for adults, and for seating, it's 22 now. And it used to be, I think it was 16 for standing, 18 for seating. So they've gone up by a couple of pounds, but that's still a bit of a jump for people to go every week to pay that.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Anyway.
some clubs put their prices up and some don't do this. So that's it.
It's great that they.
But
if you can do it.
But if you go to Needham Market, it's £15 to get in there.
December the 6th for me.
Yeah, and when I had Barry on the show last week, the owner of Malden Tiptree, who's a great guy, and he was on about the food there, and he said, "Oh, the noodles are great." And I said, "I had them." He says, "Yes, I remember when you got them." There we go. There's a picture of the noodles I got at Malden and Tiptree.
Oh, that looks good.
Gonna have to get myself there, aren't I? Sample their cheeseburger.
They were really nice. So them noodles were. They were only £6 for that big bowl of noodles, but they were lovely. Chow mein noodles, lovely. Yeah, nice bit of chow mein there.
You could do a video, John, on ranking every single burger you have at every single ground you go to at this rate.
Well, that's practically what I'm doing, isn't it?
Well, at least at least you're ranking apples with apples, aren't you? And I suppose that's or burgers with burgers, I should say. But no, but that's look, Tony, to your point, there is good variety out there, isn't there, with a number of things, and it is one area I think that clubs can and do look to try and do something different, and that can be the thing that gets people in the turnstile as well, can't it? Sometimes they'll be like, I saw this on Footy Scran, I'm going to go and try it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and the game's going on as well, you know. So, yeah.
They do a jockey burger there at Newmarket Town, but it's like that. It's like a tower burger thing.
Bit horse.
It's for a tenner. It's got onion rings and everything in it.
Okay.
But it's like, how would you get your mouth around that? It's just so big. You need a knife and fork to cut it all up. But
eat it in layers. Just eat it in layers.
Yeah. You'd have to, wouldn't you?
It's like what you said as well. A couple of years ago, Hungerford made a massive big burger, and then loads of people online went down to Hungerford to watch them with and eat their massive burger that they did there.
Good shout, Newcastle fan. How can Merthyr Town play in the National League North? What, because of where they are? I mean, they're a southern side, aren't they? We've got a link with
And
Merthyr
North
Town.
Wales, aren't they?
Yeah, so no, it's South Wales, isn't it? Merthyr.
That's
So, yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah,
So
God, yeah, South
it's
Wales. Yeah,
it's
that's
a
right.
hell of a
Yeah,
long way. So they were competing in up until recently. We used to play a pre-season trophy against Merthyr Town, which was the Johnny Owen Cup, because Johnny Owen's got links, obviously, with Merthyr Town, being a Merthyr lad, and also with us. So 2 or 3 seasons we'd play that, and then as they started progressing up, they were obviously wanting probably higher grade opposition in the. But it was a great event for our supporters. You know, every other year they'd go down to Wales in the summer, sort of thing. But yeah, to see them playing, who was it? They were up at South Shields, or South Shields were playing at Merthyr this last week in midweek. And it's that's a hell of a journey as well, isn't it? And again, having to then factor that into your costs for the business is just bonkers.
yeah. I mean, it's like if you look at like National League, you've got Truro City going all the way to say Gateshead or Carlisle, even. You know, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy.
It is.
You think how much that must cost for travelling?
Yeah,
Because
I saw
Truro's
there
the other
was.
end of Cornwall.
That's right. There was one lad. There was one guy, and he said, "Oh, it was going to be a 9-hour train journey or something," but he fell at the first hurdle because his train from Truro to Plymouth got cancelled, so he had to get a bus from Truro to Plymouth and then get the train from Plymouth to Gateshead with all those stops in between. So yeah,
God.
such is the dedication.
Philip says it's great to see Bury FC slowly on the up, being horribly expelled from the league back in 2019. Again, that was due to an ownership issue, wasn't it? He was just being an absolute crap, wasn't he?
Yeah, happens a lot, unfortunately.
It does, yeah, absolutely. Philip says Brighton Sea Beach was a very nice place, visiting the spring, summer whilst warm and sunny. Brighton Sea is lovely. Obviously, that's a ground I've been to a few times, and I've actually got a good friendship with the manager from there as well, Ryan Salter. Salter's is a great guy. He was in my intro. He's in my intro actually. So yeah, it's a great little place, Brighton Sea. It really is, and it's a lovely little club as well. On the Essex coast, about 11 miles from Clacton it is. But you know, you can't get a train or anything there. You can get a bus there. You'd have to get a train to Clacton and get a bus from Clacton to Brighton Sea. But it's a great little ground, great little stadium. And I tell you what, the fans are absolutely terrific. They bring some noise, you know. There might only be 100 of them travel, but they travel well to away grounds, as you know. And the Regent Army they're a great bunch of guys, and they do make a lot of noise. I must admit, when I was at the game the other night, Cambridge City versus Newmarket Town, local derby. Newmarket Town brought a good little following because I was talking to the media guy from Newmarket Town, and I mean, when you think that's a Step 4 game, and there was 782 there on a Tuesday night when it was pouring down a rain as well.
Yeah, it just shows how much non-league's growing.
It does, yeah, it is. It's absolutely on the up. I mean, there's a question I ask everybody, Ben, and I'm going to ask you the same question as well. I obviously asked it to Tom and asked it to Barry last week. In your words, why should, because you get some people out there who doubt, should we really go to a non-league game? Is the football great? You know, people have the stigma, the football's not great, they play high balls and all this sort of thing. Now, the one thing that instantly comes to my mind of saying one reason of going to non-league is you don't have any VAR. Because, but you get some great fans in non-league. And I talk about VAR before I ask you the question, but when I was with I was standing with the Brentwood fans last season at Wroxham when they should have, if they'd won that game, they would have got that promotion guaranteed. And I remember there was and it made me, it still makes me laugh to this day because I still remember the conversation. And so Brentwood went through and scored. and the linesman had his flag up for offside, and they ruled the goal out, so it was back to 2-2. And the guy next to me shouted, "Lino," he says, "we've got VAR." Yeah, he says, "we can show you the replay. He wasn't offside. He's not offside." And the Lino turned around. He went, "I can't look at that. I'm not allowed to." He says, "We don't have VAR in there, non-league, mate." But
No, they're
he
not
was
allowed
laughing
to,
about
are
it.
they?
But he was absolutely funny, the linesman was. And then at the end of the game, he did come up and he said, "Can I just have a look at that video?" And I showed him and he went, "I was offside, look, just." So he says, "I got the call right. I got the call right." But do you know what? That's good. It's banter, isn't it? It's a bit of banter. But the Wrexham keeper let himself down that day, I must admit. Because he wasn't very happy with the Brentwood fans in the first half, because they equalised, and then when they scored the second goal to go ahead, and it was a screaming goal, it was about 30 yards out, and Zengo hit it and flew at the top corner. And obviously Brentwood fans were throwing their beer up in the air because they were celebrating. The goalkeeper then complained to the referee that he got wet by a bit of beer. And he said, and so one of the Brentwood coaches had to go around and tell the fans to just calm it down a little bit. But at the end of the game, the Wrexham keeper, because it drew 2-2, then started giving the Brentwood fans a lot of stick. And I thought, you don't do that, mate. You don't do that. You just walk away, and he was trying to give a bit of afters, and he was trying to wind them up, but they didn't take the bait, which was good of them, not to take the bait. And they all just laughed at him. But yeah, so my question is, Ben, why should people visit non-league?
Okay, another plug for Carlton Town TV. Go and watch any of those Quickfire 5 videos. As I said to you already, we asked everybody this question. For me, I don't know. It's just a really good football experience. It's financially viable. It's local. You probably walk to a ground, get there in minutes. Say cheap to get in. Good quality of football. Some games might not be the best, but then you see that on the TV anyway. So, but it's right in front of you. It's so close. The action's there, and you get people who are invested in the clubs, and you get into that community, and everybody's pulling in the same direction. And that goes to the players as well. It's just great, and honestly, it's one of those you get people in the door, and they will come back, and they must be doing something right there for me. So yeah, give it a go. Definitely, I did 4 or 5 years ago. I've not looked back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've probably heard. You probably won't have heard, but there's a club which is just outside of Ipswich. It's about 10 miles from Ipswich. It's called Brantham Athletic. Whether you've heard anything about them or not, but a few weeks ago, because they share their grounds in like a leisure centre, like complexing. So the Brantham Leisure Centre issued a statement, and the statement is that the ultras who go to the ground, who bring the noise and everything like that, on a midweek game, they are not allowed to bang the drum anymore because the neighbours are complaining. They complain about the swearing coming from the ground. Now, they said on a Saturday, they can't play the drum, but they can't start banging the drum until 2:45 until full time. If they bang the drum before 2:45, it will be taken away altogether and they won't be allowed to have it. Because again, the neighbours are complaining. Now, to me, the way I look at that is, if you want to drive that football club out of business, you're going the right way about it, because eventually the fans will just go. They'll not bother no more. If you took the drum away, they would say, "Do you know what? What's the point? There's no atmosphere. The fans will leave, and a club without fans won't exist." I mean, I don't know. Do you have anybody like that at your place, at like Carlton Town, where they bang a drum? Or because I've seen that quite a lot of non-league grounds, and sometimes it's like a 10 or 11-year-old kid banging the drum. And do you know what? I think it brings the atmosphere. It's absolutely fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, we up until recently, no, we didn't. We had a youth contingent, but they made their own noise just by hollering at people. But then one of the, I think somebody found a drum actually. They were, going through one of the back rooms. It's like, oh, there's a drum here. So yeah, occasionally it makes an appearance. But again, we're getting more younger people in, as I said earlier, possibly because of TikTok and other things. And you give it to them, and they start beating the hell out of it, and it keeps them going, and it keeps the rest of the supporters going. Which, yeah, that's what you need, and in turn, that gets the players going, doesn't it? They're like, yeah, look, they're still with us, and it's. Yeah, it's sad to hear that, really. Although, I suppose from the neighbours' point of view, I mean, most games, even midweek, they'll finish by 10 o'clock, won't they? It's not that bad.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you got like Cambridge United, they've got 3,000 fans come out of that ground, and there's houses across the road from there, but you don't hear them complaining. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just the way I look at it is, if you live near a football ground, you expect the noise. I live in between two American air bases. Now, I've got the planes coming from my local base at Mildenhall, but then I've got the jets coming from Lakenheath. Sometimes I can't hear the TV on the night time for the jets. But at the end of the day, I choose to live here. I've got to abide by that. I've got to accept that. Yeah. And I accept that. It's like me phoning up and saying, oh, I'm sorry, them planes can't take off at 10 o'clock at night because I'm watching the TV. And things like that. So that's the way I look at it. If you choose to live near a football ground, you expect to put up with a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
If you don't want to put up with the noise, don't go move next to a football ground. Go move in the countryside somewhere out the way. Live in the middle of a field somewhere, so you haven't got that noise around you. But yeah, I just, for clubs like Grantham, I just feel sorry for them, and they're going to be back in step 5 next season because they're just not doing well at all. They've only got 2 points so far this season, and they're just getting beat every week. So I think the fans are just enjoying it for the ride that they're in this league for this season. But I think if they took the drum away, I think that would just be absolutely madness. And the fact that they've given them a time limit, they can't bang it until 2:45 on a Saturday afternoon, is just absolutely ridiculous.
There's somebody in the neighbourhood watch, won't there, with a stopwatch or watching the clock. Hang on.
Yeah.
There was a knock there before 2:45.
Yeah, it's just as I say, it's just people trying to take the fun out of football, and they should be happy with it because you bring in people into the local community as well. So if you've got fans coming in to see Carlton Town, you're bringing people from outside coming into Carlton. Yeah. And not only are they spending money at the ground, but they might spend money in the town centre, before a match starts. And, like I was at Lewis at the weekend there, and that's a fabulous ground, by the way. One of the best non-league grounds I've been in, Lewis. And, they've got beach huts in the ground and everything. It's brilliant. And, Brentwood fans went into the local pub there. So, fans are spending money in the town centre, and that's what you want to see when fans come in. If they spend a bit of money in the town centre, it just brings money into the, but if you're going to start telling people they can't do this and can't do that, you're just going to drive people away, and that's just not right, is it?
Yeah. I'm going to have to shoot off, Tony, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, we're going to come to the end of this as well. But thank you for coming on, Ben. It's been absolutely brilliant having you on.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Great to talk to you guys.
Thank you
for
coming on, Ben.
And I will get up to Carlton Town at some point, yes.
You let me know when you're coming, mate. You let me know when you're coming.
I certainly will, Ben.
You've got to.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the pictures of Carlton, and it looks really nice there, the ground. So yes, I have to make that trip, because you're sitting top of the league at the moment as well, aren't you? So
yeah, we are. They're amassing behind us, though. But yeah, we'll
That's the last question I wanted to ask is, I know we're only just over a third of the way through the season, but do you think you with the squad you've got can continue the way you're going and get the title or get playoffs?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be really difficult. There's some great teams. We have been on a good run, albeit we lost at the weekend. We need to bounce back away at Mickleover this week. But yeah, that's the hope, that we go on another decent run. get down towards Christmas, see where we are at Christmas. And then, yeah, I feel like with a fair wind, I think start of the season we were hoping for playoffs. So if it's more than that, great. But I'd take playoffs as well. So
yeah. Wacky says, lads, put your channel's logos on stickers with a QR code and stick them everywhere you go. Do you know what? That's a cracking idea, isn't it? He's got the right idea there.
Great idea, isn't it?
Yeah. John, do you want to, before you head off, John, do you want to give your channel a shout out, mate, and let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Gaming Blomp. You'll see Carlton Town appearing on there a few times as well. But I just want to say as well, you need to check out Carlton Town TV because there's some good stuff on there. But also, I did in pre-season, I did a bit of work with Ben and Carlton Town. It's called Behind the Scenes at Carlton Town. I believe you put it in the link in the description
yes,
to your
it's in
video.
the description. So, yeah, it's in the description there, John. So, if people after this want to have a look, they can click the link in there and it'll take them to your video.
And it's really good because everyone at the club spoke so well about the club. So it really does give like a great insight into the club. So I think that's probably the video I'm the most proud of as well. So yeah, go and give it a look.
you're just saying that, mate.
Yeah, I'll change my mind when Ben's gone. No, it's everyone speaks so well. There's Tommy Brookbanks is on there, Ben appears on there, both managers. I think we got Niall on there too, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And give a shout out where your social media platforms are as well, John, like your TikTok and all that.
Yeah, it's I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and obviously Twitter as well. And it's just Gaming Blomp.
When's your
So
next
feel free to add me on there.
When's
And
your
next game?
behind the scenes?
Sorry?
When's your next behind the scenes? You said you might do another one.
I'm working on one currently. It's taken a while because I've left it until the season started. So match vlogs get in the way, but it's Colville Town. I've done all the footage. I just need to do the editing, and it's the editing that's taken ages. So yeah, it'll hopefully be out by the end of next week, but it just takes so long. And then if you add in the fact that I'm going to games and match vlogs as well, like it keeps getting pushed into the background. So it'll be out before Christmas, hopefully.
And what's your next game coming up, John?
I'm at St. Ives on Saturday for St. Ives Town against Needham Market in the Southern League Premier Central, where I've done half of the grounds. So that'll be ground number 12. And then there's a current poll on Twitter as to whether I go to Banbury United against Bromsgrove or Quorn against Harborough next Tuesday. I think Quorn's winning that.
Versus Harborough is winning that one well and truly.
I think it is, yeah. But that's fine because Banbury's quite a long way for me to go on a Tuesday night.
It's Oxford way, isn't it, Banbury?
It is, yeah.
So, that's a heck of a way out. Yeah, exactly. So go to Quorn, it's a little bit easier, especially if it's raining as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although there's supposed to be snow coming next week, isn't there? So
I hope not.
But yeah, enjoy St. Ives, John. It's the support. I've heard, I don't know how true it is because I've never been there, but apparently they do great hospitality there. So I don't know, but I think they charge £60 a game or something for hospitality, or £50, something like that. But apparently it's really, really top notch. Apparently, so that's what I've heard. I've never been to St. Ives, even though it's only literally about 45-50 minutes from me.
Yeah, I'll let you know at the weekend.
And obviously get a word with Tom as well, another friend of the channel.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cheers for coming on, John. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I'll let you go. Thank you.
Nice one. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on,
Cheers,
Ben.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Owen's got a question for us. He says, James and Ben, maybe beat answer this. What do you think of Mickleover FC and Baseford this season? Because he's from the Derby.
Yeah, they're both good sides. We play Mickleover on Saturday, actually, at their place. It'll be a tough game. They both came down from Step 3, both making a good job, or they're there or thereabouts. It's so close in that division. We're only 3 points ahead at the top, and then behind us, I think 2 or 3 points goes right down to mid-table. Mickle in that mix, Baseford are in that mix. So yeah, they'll be there or thereabouts this at the end of the season. Definitely, two good sides.
Yeah, they were very good. Both teams were when we saw them earlier in the season. So it was me and John went to Baseford to watch them against Mickle. And yeah, two very good sides. Mickle 2-0 up in the first half, in the first 30 minutes, and then literally last 15 minutes, Baseford got back into it and tried to get a second to equalise. It was a little too late at that point, and it's a shame, but for Baseford that they didn't get the equaliser, but Mickle were deserving of the points. And we spoke to a Mickle fan there, and he said what they want this season is to try and battle for playoffs to get back up to where they should be. He says in step 3. So,
Tiny Forest fan says, Ben, what happened? Can you tell us about the Carlton night, music night that happened on Halloween?
Yeah, very, very quickly then, because I'm going to have to shoot shortly. But we, one of the community things that they've started doing, again, it's another fan-led thing. They basically had Friday night, opened up the clubhouse. You could take your own records. You could do a 15-minute set, play some records. They had a live band on, and hopefully that's going to be the start of a regular music event. The Shed End presents, hopefully every month, where they might not have a band every month, but there'll be the regular thing of bringing your own records. And again, it's just trying to get people down to the ground initially and sort of building the community, and then hopefully they'll then come back to the match days. Yeah, it's good initiative, that one.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And Mason says he remembers Mickle played South Shields in 2021.
Right, I'm going to have to go, guys, if that's all right. I'm going to have to duck out. But
yeah, that's absolutely fine. Do you want to give a shout out for Carlton Town TV, Ben?
I think I've done that quite a lot, Tony, but I will do it just one more time. So YouTube, Carlton Town TV, but then we're also on Twitter, CTFC 1904 is the official one, or Carlton Fans. We're on Instagram, just search Carlton Town. You'll find us on there. And then on TikTok. Carlton Town official. So yeah, lots going on, lots of energy, and we just want to spread the word. That's the idea.
Yeah, absolutely great. Thanks for coming on, Ben. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Let me know when you're coming down, and I will
do, mate. Okay. Yep, I'll DM you. No problem.
James.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye
bye.
But yeah, that was absolutely fantastic from Ben tonight there, and some great questions came in as well, and some fantastic. Sorry, I couldn't get through all the comments, but we got through most of the ones that we could, and there was plenty of questions there for Ben. Who's coming on next week's show? We don't know yet, but we will certainly. You just have to keep your eyes peeled for that one. And great show, says Lewis. Thanks very much, Lewis. Anthony Ball says, good show, guys. Non-league gets in your blood. If it's not local, it means more to myself and community. Boston till I die. When's the next show, Guy? Well, the next one is next Thursday. So we are working on a new guest to get on for next week. So this is the third one in a row we've done now, and it's it's going well. You enjoying it, James?
Yeah, very good shows. Sadly, I couldn't make it last week, but very enjoyed listening back to that one. It was a very good listen, and he speaks well. And same tonight, Ben speaks really well and gives you a fan perspective as a fan who's helping out with the club on how to and how he runs the socials over at Carlton and the journey they've been on.
I mean, yeah, Ben was absolutely fantastic tonight. As I said, don't forget to check out Carlton Town TV, as he said, on YouTube. Have a look at some of the stuff they've got on there, which is absolutely brilliant. And also, it's like he says, they're on Twitter, TikTok. TikTok is probably their best platform at the moment, like he said, because you got the youngsters on there. So, yeah, it's going well. But before we wrap up. James, give yourself a shout out, mate. Shout out your channel and shout out all your socials that you have on you.
Yes, okay then. So I, as you can see by the name, actually is there where my hand is. There we go. So it's non-league James Boyle is my name. Starting on Saturday is a brand new series on my channel, and I can confirm, by the way, we have a manager already lined up to talk to me as well. I can. So that's really good as well. It is the Lincoln United manager. Scott Halliwell, he'll be coming on to talk about Lincoln. One of the managing staff anyway will be talking about the team. So the series is promoting non-league football in Lincolnshire. So what I'll be doing is going to every corner of Lincolnshire. So going to teams like Spalding, all the way up to Boston United and Boston and Scunthorpe, of course, and also going down as far as Sleaford Town and Holbeach and stuff like that. On the show, on the series. My socials, if you want to know very quickly, are as I say, on YouTube it's non-league James Boyle. It's James_Boyle on Twitter, and it's J_Boyle on Instagram. And then I do have TikTok, which is non-league James Boyle too.
Yeah.
So there you go. And so yes, the next game, if you want to know as well, Tony, is against a team up in the northeast. So it is. I'll tell you where they are in the league if you want. It is 18th in the league, Lincoln United at home versus 21st and second from bottom, Blythe Spartans.
Blythe Spartans, yeah, they're a club in trouble. They're in real trouble. I mean,
and bottom, and very quickly to tell you, Tony, bottom of the league of Blythe Town. So there you go.
Oh God! So they're both in the relegation zone.
Yes.
So they'll be having another derby next season, and won't they?
Maybe.
It's unbelievable when you think. But if you think about Blythe Spartans, if you go back to 2009, they were in the FA Cup third round playing Blackburn Rovers at Croft Park and only lost 1-0. You know, so it just shows you how far they've actually fallen. But I think that a lot of that was down to the ownership at the club as well. And I know last season those fans there not happy at all. They voiced their opinions, and the club just dropped. And and Lewis is just saying, I didn't realise they both play in the same league. Yeah, they do, Lewis. Yeah. So if there's a chance, Lewis, you can get to a Blythe derby, get yourself to Blythe, mate. It's only up the road from Newcastle. You know where it is. Just get yourself there, get to Croft Park, and go and watch Spartans versus Town. That'll be a cracking game.
It really will. So just to tell you, by the way, it is 12 points Blythe Town at the bottom, Blythe Spartans above them on 13, and then Lincoln United just above relegation are on 17 points. So it's not actually that, what's the word I'm looking for? Unrealistic for them to maybe not be in the relegation zone, one of them. But that's where I'll be on Saturday, and the managers agreed to do an interview with me, so that's good for the series. Yeah, and what about you, Tony? Where are you going next?
Yeah, so Saturday I will be at Thetford Town versus Ely City, so a local derby. So that should be an interesting game. And that's in step 5. And that'll be, as I say, that Thetford are 6th, Ely are 9th. So it's really, two teams are close together. But Thetford, they've only lost 4 games this season in the league, but they really need to get that league back on track because they could do well in this league. I mean, I know Mull Barton are top at the moment and they're well ahead and they've got games in hand. But Thetford, I think if they could just get in the playoffs this season, I think they maybe just do it. It's a great little club and fantastic little ground, so that's where I'm off at the weekend. And obviously, as you know, but anybody who's come on the stream sharing, that's my channel down there. Also on the badge behind me as well. The Footy Channel Groundhopper. That's where you can find me there. Twitter, my Twitter name's there. And if you go on to TikTok, I'm on there as well as the Footy Channel Groundhopper as well. If you have enjoyed tonight's shows, then please do smash the likes, not just on this channel, on also on James's channel, also on Game and Blom's channel. Just smash those likes. That'd be fantastic. And if you are new to the channels, do get down there. Do hit them subscribe buttons as well. It does help everybody. And also hit the bell notification as well. And that'll keep you notified of any uploads, any live shows, or any pre-records as well. And remember, on this channel, you can always become a member. It is 99p. You only have to click the join button to do that. And we will bring some prize draws for the members very, very soon. So there we go. But that's been a cracking show tonight. As I say, what a great guest we had there in Ben. And yes, I will have to get myself to Carlton Town. Certainly this season. But thank you for everybody watching. We'll see you on the next show. Take care. It's absolutely pouring down the rain here. It's been raining for about the last hour and a bit. It's absolutely starting off the roof. I can hear it. It's not very nice at all. I'm not going out in this weather, thank goodness, until tomorrow. So hopefully it's gone by tomorrow morning. But yeah. Hey, you got it as well, have you?
No, I don't have rain here, but I
No.
hope it stops with you tomorrow. For tomorrow.
Lewis says, to be fair, it's a cracking show. It's nice to see different suspects on the aspects on non-league. I think that's what he means. Yeah, absolutely. I know I had to walk home from work in the rain, says Jay. Oh God, not nice at all, mate, is it? Yeah.
Did you have the same, Tony, on Tuesday where it poured it down with rain and you had to just watch the football in the absolute pouring rain? I did that, and
I was under the stand though, so I was all right.
Yeah, I kind of made a decision in second half. I'll go and stand behind the goal that Stamford are scoring in, and guess what? It's an open end, so I had to stand in the rain.
Yeah, I stayed under the stand, so I was fine there.
Yeah,
that's a good thing with Cambridge City though. All our stands are covered.
that's
a ground you need to get to as well.
Yeah, on my list of grounds that you've been talking about, one of them is Cambridge City, and another ones to go back to is Carlton. So I need to definitely do them.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, that's it. We're finished from here. But thank you for watching, and don't log off yet because the outro is very, very good as well. So enjoy the outro when we go. Thank you for watching. See you all on the next one. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
1 second.